He's Rodney Harrison. How many people in NFL history have at least 30 sacks and 30 interceptions? It's you, Ray Lewis. Anybody else on that list?
I don't think so.
That's it. So Rodney in Select Company, Football Night in America.
No. I was before Ray.
Okay.
Just had to let you know.
So, wait, what did I miss there? I said you're in Select Company.
Right.
So
making it seem like
Ray,
I joined him.
No, it's just you two were in Select Company.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ray joined Rodney in the Select Company.
This is what I put up with every Sunday
No,
night.
I thought I was giving you a compliment there. I could have just said, here's Rodney Harrison, former Patriot and Charger defensive back.
I appreciate it.
I was giving you a little bit of flavor there. How many college scholarship offers did you get out of high school?
2.
Western Illinois?
And Eastern Illinois.
So you only had 2 hats in front of you? That's sad. You're supposed to have 3, aren't you?
That's what happens, man. You get guys, that think they're very smart, all these coaches and scouts, and they overlook guys like me.
But the one thing that you have, and it's hard to measure, is, and I know you probably hate hearing it, but you have heart. Like you wanted to play. You understood what you were supposed to do. You gave everything you had. And the story you tell about Belichick, even finding out who you were, was about you giving everything you had, almost to the detriment of your health.
Well, I know. I mean, you have a guy like Patrick Peterson where he has the measurables. I mean, he's 6'1", he's 200 pounds, he runs a 4'3", 4'2". He's got tremendous athleticism. I wasn't that guy. I was a skinny kid. I had heart, and I had commitment, I had discipline, and I worked my butt off. And that's why I was able to succeed and last 15 years in the league. But it motivated me. When you overlooked me, you motivated me.
But explain how Belichick found out even who you were.
It's pretty funny. Well, basically, I was with the Raiders in Al Davis's office waiting for him to come in to possibly finalize a contract. Then I went out on a patio. Mike Shanahan gave me a call and said, hey, we want you, Rodney. Can you come out and visit? And then Belichick called on the other line. And my agent was kind of handling everything, so I lied to one of the Raiders people and said, hey, I just need to get away, go to the store. I'm not feeling good. So me and my agent, we jumped in the car, we took off, we headed straight to the airport, flew out to New England, arrived, it was a red eye. We arrived maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, went into Belichick's office, and when I was sitting down talking to him, he reminded me of a story. He said, I remember when you guys were warming up when we played you, when I played for the Chargers, and in warm-ups, you hit one of your defensive backs and you knocked him on his butt. And he gave me the number, and I was like, you remember that? You actually saw that and remember that? And he said, yeah. And I said, you know what? I looked at my agent. I said, you know what? This is where I want to be. Get the contract worked out. This is where I want to be.
Is he a genius?
He is. He's so much smarter than everyone else. He is. I mean, just from the level of the guys that he's taking a chance on to the structure to the preparation. That's why these guys are always in it. Everyone wants to just talk about Brady and Belichick, but it's about the role players, it's about the other guys. And people don't realize all the great players we had. Willie McGinnis is a fantastic player. Ted Johnson, Roman Pfeiffer, Ty Law should be in a Hall of Fame. All these type of guys never really get the publicity that they deserve because he always downplayed us. And other people saw the value in us because when we left, other guys, got paid. But it was one of those things where we didn't care who got the attention. We knew that we were smarter than you, that we outprepared you, and we're going to beat you.
He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Why does Marshall Faulk still think that you guys somehow cheated to beat the Rams?
Well, I didn't play at that point. I was still in San Diego. But that's just bitterness. Marshall, I love Marshall. He's a great running back, and I think I've even knocked him out a couple times. But I'm just saying he is fantastic, one of the most versatile backs in this league. But when you lose to the Patriots, everyone thinks you're cheating. That's what happens.
Is it sour grapes though, with a lot of these
it is to
players
a certain degree,
and coaches?
Just like we started at the beginning of the year, and the Carolina Panthers started saying we knew their calls. How do we know your calls when Musa Muhammad scored an 87-yard touchdown? If I wish I would have known that played in because I would have checked to cover 2.
Would you tell me if you knew what their calls were now?
Of course not.
Okay. So I don't know if you're telling me the truth now.
I don't give a damn if you know or not.
Okay, that's
I'm just
fair
saying
enough.
we didn't do it.
Give me the quarterback who tipped his plate that you knew that he had a tell.
Excuse me?
The quarterback who had a tell, like that you could tell what play.
It's really like the great quarterbacks that I've faced, like Peyton. You could never read him. John Elway, Steve Young. Those are the great quarterbacks. But the bum quarterbacks that you face, guys that stayed in the league, were basically career backups, guys that kind of came and went. You can kind of just tell. You could just come up to the line of scrimmage, and when they come up to the line of scrimmage, they never even give the safety any eye contact. They'll basically look at the ground, so you know that it's a run. Then other times, they'll keep favoring over this side. Well, it's going to be a play-action pass, or it's going to be somewhere with the Z receiver. So those are the type of tips that, you kind of find out from some of the average quarterbacks compared to the great quarterbacks. The great quarterbacks like Peyton, he'll look at the safety, he'll look at the linebacker, he'll scream out, he'll see your body movement, he'll check, he'll do all these crazy things. And the biggest thing that you do when you see Peyton doing that is do nothing. Don't react. Don't fall for it because it's all a trick.
Ever see a quarterback scared?
Of our defense, plenty of times. Plenty of times.
But what's that look? How do you know that guy is nervous?
Well, when he's under center, his hand's going like this.
They're shaking?
Yeah. Dan, you will be surprised how many quarterbacks, how many guys that play in the league that are flat out cowards.
Well, can you be a coward in that sport?
You can, because it's a lot of pretenders. A lot of guys that hide behind what they did in college. A lot of guys that hide behind all the accolades they had in college. And guys that basically they're just to collect a paycheck. If these general managers are dumb enough to allow you to play, pay you $1 million to $2 million to be a backup quarterback, it's the best job ever. Because all you do is sit there, you support your starting quarterback, you hope to God that he doesn't get hurt, so you don't have to play, and you collect $200,000 or $300,000 a week during the season. Is
Johnny Manziel a bum?
He's not a bum in terms of, if he can play. I think the kid can play. I really do. Do I like his personality? Would I want that in my locker room? Of course not. I think, a lot of general managers, and I look at Jerry Jones, he's talking about he wants these guys in his locker room like Greg Hardy. What people don't realize is the value of chemistry and continuity and trust. When you have a general manager or a head coach and you letting these type of guys get in your locker room, players lose respect for the organization. Then players become very selfish and they say, you know what? I'm not going to go out there and give my extra, give my all. If I'm hurt, I'm not going to play because these guys don't care about us. All they care about is getting these guys in with the big names, and I'm not going to sacrifice my well-being or anything to play because that's all they care about is the big names. I wouldn't want Johnny Manziel on my team at all, and I would have a problem with him, a big, serious problem with him.
Can you stick around? I want to ask you a couple of questions about the Super Bowl itself.
Will do.
Did we talk about this on record about the play that cost you guys the Super Bowl against the Giants?
You talking about the one that was it Ellis Hobbs?
Plexico Burress with the touchdown reception
against Ellis Hobbs?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious.
Oh, we talked about the Super Bowl last year.
We did?
Yeah.
Where you knew you guys were in trouble?
Yes, we talked about it.
All right.
Are we going to break now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. It's called a tease here. We're going to come back.
Sounds good.
And if you want to crack somebody? How about you just you know what? During the break, show the art of proper tackling without hurting anybody.
I got a stiff neck
so
right
McLovin,
now, so I promise you I won't hit you.
Okay, all right. So
right, I've heard that before.
I'm serious. I'm
but
serious.
that didn't sound like a setup. So McLovin played the role of Demaryius Thomas. Paulie got to play a role of Emmanuel Sanders. Who would have a big McLovin? What?
Why do I see big receivers like Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall? I see when DBs jam them, they blow right by. I think it's like the dumbest thing. They get open every time.
It's crazy because the one art of coaching is technique, and you have to use common sense. You have to use common sense. If I'm a smaller defensive back, say I'm 5'10", 180 pounds, and you're Brandon Marshall, who's 6'4", 230, and if you've seen Brandon Marshall up, he is built up like a tank. Don't jam him. Play off of him. He's not going to run past you, and that's the number one mistake that but coaches don't teach that.
Who's the number one guy on each team? If you're on the defense of Carolina, who are you worried about?
Probably Emmanuel Sanders. I would have said Demaryius Thomas, but I just don't think his confidence is high right now. All the drops and
Man, that's weird though.
it is weird. And Peyton is a very smart quarterback, Dan. And I think because of the drops, I think his goal is to get Demaryius Thomas involved early into the offense. I think he'll come out. They'll spread him out. They'll be pretty conservative and get him the ball. Get the ball out of his hands quickly and get Demaryius involved. They're going to need that guy. I mean, he's got the potential of, if they win the game, I would say he would be the MVP.
He's got to have a big game, though.
He has to
You
have
would
a big
think to
game.
contribute. Okay, if you're Denver's defense, who are you most concerned about?
Cam. Outside of Cam?
Yeah.
Outside of Cam, I would say Greg Olsen. Ted Ginn, he's a very explosive guy, and they try to get him the ball multitude of ways, reverses, screens, deep balls, things like that. But I would say Greg Olsen, especially in the red zone. If I'm Denver, I would even look to put Aqib Talib on him in certain situations, my number one corner.
Would you have a problem with Cam Newton's style? Celebrating?
I don't.
End zone stuff?
He said it best, Dan. If you don't like it, and let me tell you, the defense is different from when I came in the league back in '94. The mentality is different. You let a quarterback score, you let him dance, and you see it time and time again on film. If I was playing against Cam Newton, I would try to take him out.
What do you mean?
I would try to hurt him. I would go right at his knees. That's the goal. That's the goal. You want to knock him out. That might be the difference between winning and losing the Super Bowl. And trust me, back when I came in the league, these are the conversations we had. Hey man, we need to knock him out. That's just what it is.
Who did you try to do that to? Who were you talking about?
Well, anybody I played against. It's just what it is, man. It's football. They're trying to hurt you. Cheap shots, wide receivers coming at your knees, pushing you in the back. That's just war. But I don't have a problem with Cam Newton. If you don't want him to celebrate, keep him out of the end zone.
But the conversation you would have, going back to 1994, 95, or 96, is you were facing Cam Newton today. That mentality would be, we're going to take him out.
We're going
for his knees.
We're going for his knees. Every time he runs the ball, we need 7, 8 guys hitting him in his shoulder. If he tries to jump over the pile, put your crown of your helmet right through his throat. That's just the mentality. These are the conversations that no one talks about. Defensive players, and you look at the Denver Broncos, and they're so complimentary of Cam. Oh, he's so great. He's this, he's that. But my conversation will be, we need to knock him out. We need to make him to the point where he doesn't want to run the football.
Well, I thought the Niners did that against him. When the Niners went to the Super Bowl, when they beat Cam in San Francisco, they put a beating on him that day.
That's what you have to do. I mean, he's a big man, and that's the only way you're going to discourage a quarterback that wants to run the ball. You have to hit him in his mouth over and over again.
If it was Peyton in his prime or Cam now, who would you rather face?
Peyton's the best quarterback I've ever faced.
But you would rather face him or Cam?
I'd rather face Cam.
Oh, you would?
Because a scrambling quarterback really doesn't bother me that much, especially if I'm the Denver Broncos, because I have the secondary guys to match up with him. Cam is a special athlete, but Peyton in his prime, he's so smart. He was so accurate. He has such a strong arm. He could do so many things. He could dictate. He knew when you were in cover 2. He knew when you had 8-man box. He knew all the checks. I mean, he was a special football player. And what he lacks in accuracy and arm strength, he has now in awareness, and he knows how to find the weakness in the defense.
You have Calvin Johnson retiring. Justin Tuck is 32. He's retiring. And even Tuck said, look, this is a trend here, that guys understand we've made our money, and I'm in my early 30s. I can walk away.
That's great, and I applaud him.
But do you think that is going to be what others, maybe a path others follow here?
I think if guys take care of their money, if guys are smart, if guys have the level of success, those two players that you talked about, Calvin Johnson's arguably, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer. Justin Tuck, he won a Super Bowl. I mean, he's been tremendous. Why continue to play? Like he talked about, he made his money. Now he can spend time with his family. Why go out there and each year that you play, $4 million or $2 million, you're hurt, you have to go through treatment. Walk away when you can. You don't want lingering pain.
I'm always amazed when Rodney tells me his injuries. Like when you run down the list of injuries that you had when you played, and how many years did you play?
I played 15.
Okay, so in 15 years, you accumulated what injuries?
I had both of my plantar fascia on my feet. I mean, I had shot up. I had bone spurs in my ankle, ACL, MCL, PCL in one knee, tore my quad tendon in another knee, ripped 35% of my groin off the bone, broke both my scapulas, broke my forearm, which, the last 4 days that I've been here, I have a screw right here, and it's just been absolutely killing me. So I'm icing it at night. My neck has been really bothering me, very, very stiff on the plane. So I'm laying in the tub this morning at 4:30 a.m. with 2 bags of Epsom salt that I told my agent. So I'm laying in 4:30 this morning, barely can sleep. And that's aside from, some of the headaches and things like that. But I'm not the one to complain, Dan. I just do what I got to do to take care of my body.
Well, Thomas Davis got, 13 screws in his arm?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But he's going to try to play.
Like I said, I broke my forearm, and you can see the scar right here.
Yeah.
And I was in pain for 4 to 6 weeks. And it's just amazing that this guy's going to be able to go out and at least try to play. And what he's overcome, 3 ACL injuries, it's pretty special.
Terrell Owens, first ballot Hall of Fame?
Yes, no doubt. Terrell Owens. I mean, he was a different guy.
That's a quick answer.
He was a different guy off the field, but you feared him when he was on the field. He was an absolute monster.
Better than Torrey Holt or Isaac Bruce?
Different. If you ask me who I was more afraid of playing against those 3 guys, I would say Terrell Owens, because he was so big, fast, and he played mean. He was a mean dude. He wanted to beat you on the ground. He wanted to embarrass you. He was a phenomenal player. I think those 2 guys deserve to have Hall of Fame credibility as well.
I mentioned this story about the Super Bowl against the Giants. Plexico Burress catches the touchdown pass against Ellis Hobbs. But so this is after the Tyree play, and you guys are trying to get your defense together. And I was just amazed that you guys maybe weren't on the same page. Is that secondary? As your defense was great, but you guys break the huddle, and then what happens when you look at what the Giants have in front of you?
Well, it was one of those situations where you got to have it. We call it "gotta have it" situation, where you kind of know that it's an all-out blitz, and of course, Junior's out there and he wants to blitz, and I'm calling him. And I'm saying, "Look, Junior, let's check," because I see Ellis Hobbs out there, who's a 5'8", 5'9" cornerback, against Plexico Burress, who's 6'5". And I knew it was a mismatch, and I kept yelling and screaming, check it. Of course, Junior, he doesn't care about
now. If you
coverage.
Check it, what is that?
I'm gonna check it to cover 2. Cover 2 means that Ellis Hobbs would jam him at the line of scrimmage, and I'm over top. And no way do they make that play, because we're basically, in essence, double teaming Plexico Burress. But it's 1-on-1. Eli knew it. It was easy. He could see. He could read the safeties. He saw me, and he checked it, and it was just an easy touchdown. I knew the game was over then.
As soon as you saw the pass?
As soon as I saw.
Or the fact you guys didn't check out?
As soon as they made the call in the huddle that it was a blitz, I looked and I saw Plexico Burress. I knew the game was over. And I was begging with Junior. And what I should have done, I should have just completely checked out of the defense. I should have made that check, and I didn't. And
but Junior had the call, like it's Junior's defense.
Well, we communicate. Like if Brewski was in there, I say, Brew, I'm gonna make this check. Let's check 2. And he trusts me. But Junior was a different cat, because Junior wanted to blitz. Every move Junior made, even from my San Diego days, every move that I made with Junior would have the running back in the flat, and he would blitz. And it's 3rd down and 15, and he's blitzing. Well, I thought I saw Junior. You have the back in the flat. That's the guy that got the first down. And then he said, "Don't worry about it, Hot Rod. I'll make it up to you." The very next play, he'll go in, sack the quarterback, and
make a
force a fumble, and he'll hand me the ball and say, "Is that good enough for you?"
You got a pick on the game?
Oh, I got Carolina winning this game. I just don't think the only way Carolina loses this game is if they flat out choke. They're a better team overall, Dan. They have the better quarterback. I think their defense is better overall. Offensively, they can run the ball. They can do so many different things. And my biggest hang-up on Carolina, I know Carolina fans think I'm a hater when it comes. My only criticism all year was that they had average wide receivers. And that's what makes it even more special what Cam Newton has been able to do, dealing with these guys that he has. These guys, like, did you ever think that they were capable of getting to the Super Bowl with these group of receivers?
No. When they lost Benjamin preseason,
I thought it was over for them.
I thought to make the playoffs was going to be remarkable.
Yeah.
He's Rodney Harrison. This is why it makes him great on Football Night in America. We love the opinions. Could you give the proper technique for a tackle here as we go to break with McLovin with the football? Just to let people know. Just proper technique of how you tackle. You don't have to hurt anybody.
I'm a little sore.
You're a little sore.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get hurt, but just proper technique for a tackle.
Hold on, watch
McLovin
yourself.
is the ball. This is
I thought you were hurt.
I'm not that
Oh, you said you were hurt. Stiff neck.
It's Rodney Harrison. We're back to close up shop here on the Dan Patrick Show after this. You fell for it again, McLovin.
You still saying you were hurt? You were talking about this. I had ice this. I had ice that. I had this.